Namaskar. In this tutorial, we will go through a past paper question based on the concept of mean and variance of a continuous random variable. The question says that the diagram shows the graph of a probability density function f of a random variable x. So they have given some graph here and they are asking us in the first part of the question, find the value of the constant k. So here f of x equation is not given. For which interval it is defined, they have not given. So what we will have to do to find out k is that we will have to take the help of this particular shape of the graph. What is the shape of this particular graph from 0 to k? It is representing a triangle, correct? And we know that the area under the fx curve for all the real values of x has to be equal to what? Has to be equal to 1, correct? So that means the area of the triangle has to be equal to 1. Why? Because to the left of 0 f of x is 0 and to the right of k f of x is 0. So that means only this area of this triangle should be equal to 1. So that means what we will get? We can say this is half into base length is k into the height, that length is half of k. This has to be equal to 1. So what do we get from this? We get this as k square is equal to 4. If k square is equal to 4, it means that k is plus or minus 2. But here the k is to the right, okay, of O origin. So that means k is positive. K is 2 because k is positive here. And we also know that the f of t curve basically always lies on the upper side of the x-axis. So k can't be negative. So this answers the part A of the question. So with this, what do we get? We get this value, this point as 2, 0 and this point as 0, 1. Okay. Now what is part B of the question? Using this value of k, find f of x for the interval 0 to k when x is varying from 0 to k, and hence find e of x. So to find e of x, I will have to have my f of x. So how to get the equation of f of x? Here for 0 to k, f of x is basically a straight line with a negative slope, correct? So let's find out the gradient of this particular line. So gradient will be equal to what? It will be equal to 0 minus 1 upon 2 minus 0, which will be equal to minus 1 by 2. And the equation of this particular line will be equal to what? Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1 in this particular form. So this means, what do I get here? I get y minus, suppose y1 I take it as 0. This is equal to m is minus half into x minus x1. x1 is what? 2. So what do I get from here? I get y is equal to minus half of x plus 1. So this is what our f of x. F of x is equal to 1 minus half of x, okay, for x lying between 0 to 2, and this is equal to 0 otherwise, correct? So we have done the first part of B part of the question. Now what is the second part of the B part? They are saying find e of x. So what is e of x? That is expectance of x will be equal to integral of x into f of x with respect to x for 0 to k, for the value of x for which f of x is defined, that is from 0 to 2 here, correct? So this will be equal to what? Integral of x into 1 minus half of x, integrating this thing with respect to x, and x is varying from 0 to 2. So what do I get this as? Integration x dx integration will be what? X square by 2 minus of half x square ka integration with respect to x will be what? X cube by 6, okay, and the limits will be from 0 to 2. So if I substitute this limit, what do I get? I get 2 ka square, that is 4 divided by 2, that is 2, minus 2 ka cube is 8, 8 divided by 6 is nothing but 4 by 3. This is the upper limit, minus the lower limit will be 0. So what do I get this as? This will be equal to 3 into 2 is 6 minus 4 is 2 by 3. So that means e of x is 2 by 3, or in 3 significant figures I can say it as 0.667. Okay, so this answers the part B of the question. Now part C, find the value of p such that probability of x being greater than p and less than 1 is equal to 0.25. Okay, so they are telling us to find out the value of p. They have already given probability of x being greater than p and less than 1. This is equal to 0.25 or 1 by 4. So that means I am supposed to integrate f of x with respect to x from p to 1. Okay, and this is equal to 1 by 4. So from this, what do I get? Integral of, what is my f of x? 1 minus x by 2. This I am supposed to integrate with respect to x from p to 1. This is equal to 1 by 4. So from this, what do I get? I get this as x minus x square by 4, and the limits are from p to 1. This is equal to 1 by 4. So from this, what do I get? I'll put the upper limit, so I'll get 1 minus 1 by 4. This is the upper limit minus the lower limit, so it becomes p minus p square by 4, and this is equal to 1 by 4. So from this, what do I get? Minus into minus is plus, so I get this as p square by 4 minus p, and this is 1 minus 4, 1 by 4, that is 3 by 4. So plus 3 by 4 is equal to 1 by 4. Now this 1 by 4, I can take it on the other side, that is left side. So what do I get? I get p square by 4 minus p, and 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4 will give me 2 by 4, that is half. This is equal to 0. If I take the LCM, then what do I get? I get this as p square minus of 4p plus 2 divide by 4, and that 4 I can take it on the other side of the equal to sign and multiply by 0, so that will become equal to 0. So I get an equation p square minus 4p plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we are supposed to solve this particular quadratic equation. So it is not, we are not able to factorize it directly. So what we can do is we can use the quadratic equation ka formula to find out the roots. What I'll get? P is equal to minus of minus 4 plus or minus under root of b square minus 4ac, that is minus 4 square minus of 4 times a is 1 into c is 2 divided by 2a, that is 2 into 1. So what do I get this as? This becomes minus into minus is plus, this becomes 4 plus or minus square root of, now this is 16 minus 8, 16 minus 8 is 8 divided by 2. So I can say this is 4 plus or minus square root of 8, I can write it as 4 in 8, I can write it as 4 into 2, and square root of 4 into 2 will become 2 root 2 divided by 2. So this I can write it as 2 plus or minus root 2. So p is either 2 plus root 2 or p is 2 minus root 2. But 2 plus root 2 means this becomes, root 2 is 1.414 something, so this becomes 3.414, but p is less than 1, so that means I will have to discard this one. Okay, so that means p is equal to 2 minus root 2, that is 2 minus 1.414. Okay, so if I do that particular thing, what do I get? I get this as 0.5857 something something, which I can say it is nothing but 0.586. So now if you want to understand and practice other concepts of the continuous random variable, then do watch the playlist coming in on the screen in front of you in next few seconds. Radhe Radhe.